Welcome to this edition of News Brief. Let's get you caught up on the news of the week. Well, you've seen the gut-wrenching images coming from Florida. Hurricane Ian left a trail of devastation, more than 100 lives lost. One of the early surveyors of the damage, Brad Pierce, a Cirrus SR-22 pilot based in Orlando and longtime disaster response volunteer for Aerobridge. The organization has volunteer pilots throughout the country who respond to all types of disasters. Brad overflew the area to see if there was a need for Aerobridge to mobilize the Army of General Aviation pilot volunteers standing by.
And literally within minutes of the airport reopening, since we were shut down here as well, I launched actually with my two sons as well, who have also experienced flying other hurricanes and disaster types of missions. We launched to the Southwest Florida area. Basically overflew. There were some TFRs in the area, so we essentially outlined the TFR to stay clear of the official search and rescue types of folks there, while observing things like car traffic, major roads, minor roads, neighborhoods, observing damaged types of areas. And we're really looking for flows of traffic. We're looking to see if there's alternate transportation networks that are available to get in that perhaps could move a lot more goods faster than we could with airplanes.
Brad found that most road access was maintained, so aircraft were not the best tool available for delivering supplies, and as a result, Aerobridge did not mobilize. However, another large disaster relief organization, Operation Airdrop, did activate, and pilots flew supplies into areas like Fort Myers and Pine Island. However, the organization said that it completed its mission on October 4th and canceled future flights. They said that those areas could be accessed now by water and land. Now, while groups aren't conducting flights at the moment, you can sign up to be a volunteer for Aerobridge, Operation Airdrop, or another volunteer flying group so that you can be ready to help the next time disaster strikes. And there are still other opportunities to help those affected by Hurricane Ian as well, even without flying supplies. Donate to your favorite relief organization. One way is by attending our hangout fly-in at Tampa Executive Airport, November 4th and 5th. Now, we have decided to continue with the event, and along with serving as a gathering for the GA community, we're going to donate a portion of the event's proceeds to support the recovery in Florida. In addition, we're also asking attendees to consider making a donation to one of the worthy causes helping the area, such as Volunteer Florida or the American Red Cross. Now, we're going to continue to monitor the situation in South Florida, and we will adjust our plans if conditions warrant. We're going to be posting updates on our website, so check back there regularly. And Tampa pilot Colin Moorhead has quite the story from Hurricane Ian. He ended up in the path of the hurricane twice. Colin is training for an airline career at Tampa Bay Aviation at Clearwater Air Park, and he volunteered to fly a flight school Cessna 182 away from the storm to keep the airplane safe. Colin flew from Tampa and headed to Pawleys Island near Georgetown, South Carolina. At the time, the storm was not forecast to head that direction, but then it turned.
The 11 o'clock update came out and it started going a little bit more east and a little bit more east. And so by about probably the 11 o'clock on Wednesday morning, it was, man, that thing doesn't even look like it's going to hit Tampa anymore. And so we all started looking around like, why is that cone kind of coming back to Georgetown, South Carolina now?
Well, the storm turned and headed straight for Colin's location.
It was around probably 10 a.m. on Friday morning when the wind started picking up. And it started out just being, some strong gusts. You'd hear the wind whistle on the windows and you'd think, okay, it's starting to get here. And then you sort of looked out towards the creek and you're like, that tide's kind of coming in a little far. And then it just kept coming and coming and coming. So it was some substantial storm surge. Things are starting to float away from houses. Everything that we had on the ground level starting to just sort of get picked up and dragged off. It was just, I don't know if we're okay here on the first floor because we have no indication of when this storm surge is going to stop.
Well, fortunately, the surge did stop and Colin and his family stayed safe. The airplane was on high ground and in a hangar. Colin's story was even picked up by the New York Times. Well, are you wondering how GA is doing on the safety front? You can get the details in the latest Joseph T. Nall Report on the Air Safety Institute website. This 30-second Nall Report offers users a near real-time analysis of general aviation accidents. Good news overall in the latest report, a decrease in the overall and fatal accident rate. Weather-related accidents remain highly lethal, but overall weather accidents sharply decreased in 2020. Fatal maneuvering accidents saw a substantial decrease, reaching a 10-year low. The commercial fixed-wing total accident rate rose following 2 years of decline, and the number of fatal fuel-related accidents has remained steady at an average of 8 per year for several years. And proper planning is the key to avoiding fuel-related accidents, but sometimes plans change and occasionally they change en route. AOPA's Sierra Harrop was headed to Dayton, Ohio in a Vans RV-12. She was looking to make up time en route and decided to self-fuel the airplane at the fuel stop to speed things up, but during a pre-landing NOTAM check and airport briefing, she noticed that the planned airport didn't have a self-service pump. While flight planning, she had come up with several alternate stops in the vicinity, and having those picked out gave her the flexibility she needed to divert to an airport that did have self-serve fuel. Now she's got a video about making decisions on the fly and how proper preparation beforehand can make all the difference. See the full video on our YouTube channel. When you think STOL, you probably don't picture a 9-seat commuter airplane, but Tecnam just announced a STOL variant of the P2012. The P2012 STOL looks a lot like the P2012 Traveler on the outside, but the two models have different engines. The STOL version has Continentals with traditional engine controls, while the Traveler has Lycomings that feature a single power lever with FADEC. The STOL version also has an 8.5-foot longer wingspan than the Traveler. Now the price for the new airplane, not available yet, but it's going to be announced soon at this year's NBAA convention in Orlando, Florida. It's coming up October 18th through the 20th. Zero Avia is working with Textron on a new powertrain for the Cessna Grand Caravan. Zero Avia will retrofit the Grand Caravan with the ZA600 powertrain. It will carry hydrogen fuel tanks under the wings, and the target market is commercial passenger and cargo operators. The company is working to create zero-emissions powertrains for a variety of aircraft from 9 seats all the way up to 80 seats in the future. And Wisk just unveiled a futuristic-looking autonomous air taxi. Wisk began developing aircraft in 2010 and later merged with recently closed air taxi company Kitty Hawk. In 2019, Boeing and Kitty Hawk reformed Wisk as a joint venture to support their development of unmanned aerial taxis. Now, the company just unveiled its 6th-generation prototype, and we recently got to take a look inside.
So, as you can see, there is ample room for with 4 seats and a ton of space for personal carry-on luggage items. Our 6th-generation aircraft feels like you're sitting in a nice car. The seats are incredibly comfortable, and each passenger has their own individual screen. And the purpose of this screen is to help educate and inform our passengers while they're in flight. We really want to make sure people feel like they know what is exactly happening to the aircraft before it actually starts to make a transition or a slight turn. Again, this is really critical in building thorough communications and ensuring our passengers feel safe and informed.
Well, the company reports that the new aircraft will have a cruising speed of 120 knots. It'll feature a 90-mile range with reserves and fly at an altitude between 2,500 feet and 4,000 feet. The aircraft is all electric and powered by Wisk's proprietary 12-propeller design and boom configuration. Find the full video about it on our YouTube channel, and you can find the link in the description. Well, that's News Brief for this week. Thanks for watching. And if you're not an AOPA pilot, we'd love to have you join us. You can find the link for all our membership options at the end of the video. And we leave you this week with Sierra's video of a beautiful flight over Washington State in a Cessna 170. We'd love to see your cool flying videos, and you may even see it on a future show. You can upload it to the link in the description. We'll see you back here next Friday.